to the end game, you just explode and try to take over the map. There are other styles which are roach-based where you do try to get that center control. And having the center of the map can be a huge liability, even though you're taking center map control. Just because everything's out in the open, it's very easy to fungal. If at all you ever lose the center location, you are at a huge loss. So you're kind of tying up you're putting all your eggs in one basket. We're going to go ahead and see how these two players actually play this out. Bottom left-hand position, we have EC Scarlett, spawning here as the purple ZvZ. Top right-hand position, we have the blue ZvZ. Over here goes to Ostojiy. Both these players starting out very, very similarly. Yeah. Probably going for 15 hatch. That's what we normally see as, you know, the hatchery. Yes, it is kind of far away from these rams, but I think overall Antigua Shipyard, you can play this 15 hatch style and be pretty successful against, you know, 14 pool, 15 pool, etc.
And I think what's really cool in ZvZ is, wow, they're actually dropping some huge knowledge bombs, man. Ostojiy actually did not go 15-15-19 in that game. Ostojiy went pool and then gas, then hatchery before he went on Tile 3 Malter. Both players.
Yeah, that's what she was saying. I think it was 15-15-19 actually.
But she was asking for, did you go gas before pool?
Oh,
gas before hatchery.
Yeah,
Because how she's like asking your gas count. Because I think she was curious, like, how did you get so much units that were gas heavy? Because what was it? Ostojiy kept trading so poorly in terms of his gas, right? Initially, Scarlett was able to keep a huge gas count.
Yeah.
I think Scarlett was really wondering, how did he manage to even still utilize the remaining gas to pump out so much units with upgrades?
Yeah, and she was
and
just
a Nidus Worm.
And
two Nidus Worms.
She's trying to get tells like, how did you do all that with so little amounts of gas? And she's trying to rework it and say, well, clearly you couldn't have done these certain set of builds.
Yeah, that's really
I need to try to deduct as much as possible. So Scarlett, I think she is a little bit, you know, worried about last game, honestly. Let's look at initial scouts really quick. First extractor is actually going down for Scarlett, and Ostojiy will see everything going down. Actually, Ostojiy's really happy to see this. He went hatchery before spawning pool.
Yeah.
That's going to give him a pretty moderate advantage in this early game stage. Income tab is showing 17-16, a slight advantage for Ostojiy. That's what that gives you. It gives you that slight drone lead at the beginning.
Andre, I have to apologize. The noise in here is so absurdly loud. Exactly. I can't even hear anything. I mean, Ostojiy's probably saying his sound's not working,
yeah.
but the decibel level here at NASL is just so loud. It's probably breaking computers at this point. And I am just so excited because, again, both these players, high caliber people, and they also deserve a huge round of applause. And I can't wait to see who comes out of this match. So, Andre, I think I hear you're talking about hatchery and pool timings. Can you say it one more time? I really apologize.
No problem.
It's
just the fact that Ostojiy was able to prioritize his hatchery first before his spawning pool, and thereby giving him an advantage in this early game stage. He'll have the larva advantage, but not only that, he should have the theoretical drone advantage since he doesn't, well, he can't allocate anything to Zerglings. I like his position a lot better.
Yeah, I do also like that Scarlett, the way she's opening as well is a little bit more gas conservative, and you can see that she's squeezing in a little bit more drones later on, but she's getting her queens in staggered formation, so she's able to squeeze in more injects over time. Ostojiy's kind of just doing this pretty methodically by standard, getting his speed at a pretty standard weight, but again, nothing too different. It's just stylistic at this point. You can see they're off by 1 drone, 2 drones each, starting speed around the same time, ultimately having the same build.
Yeah.
But now you can just see how both players kind of approach openings in terms of safety and early game scouting.
Well, it's so interesting because both these players are actually playing it very greedy. There are so many different indications. I shouldn't say indications, but there could be the possibility of some early super huge push. And both these players just saying, well, I'm hoping that you don't do something like this. Now, obviously, they have relative time if they can look, okay, my metabolic boost is about to finish. I'm not really scared of anything right there. Technically, there could be a huge surgence of Zerglings pop out from either of these two players, and they could catch the other one off guard. That's why we have these initial spine crawlers going down, but I still feel like both these players are playing a little bit greedy economically, but since they're both doing it, they're being paid off.
Oh, the first differential of greenness is starting to separate. Scarlett squeezing out 4 drones before making any more Zerglings, and Ostojiy has a lot more in production. And you can see an Evil Chamber also dropping up, so Scarlett really wants to play more defensive Baneling while getting in more drones. And Ostojiy has a huge influx of Zerglings inbound, Andre.
Now, these Zerglings, they might seem like, oh, he's switching over to some sort of, huge aggression, but these are normally just for defense. To get a scout out, see what's going on, make sure he's not going to die to any all-ins. That's the main purpose of this. From here, we can already see he's taking 2 additional extractors. He's most likely going to, look at that, drone up from here, and then just tech. That's normal. But this is just to be like, okay, well, I know Larva is very, very limited. Let me go ahead and just test my luck, see what I can see, and from there I can play accurately.
Mini skirmish here at the outside of Scarlett's natural. Ostojiy not really trying to make sure to play a little bit safer. Doesn't want to play with Baneling morph timings because that Baneling could finish any second, kill all of his Zerglings, and as a result, just beat down significant on Larva. But pretty big.
Queen almost goes down there.
Yeah, that was actually really close. If you lose that Queen, you lose Inject. You lose your ability to snipe Banelings as well.
Yep, and look at that. Banelings are going to trade up. The Queen 10 hit points away from dying.
Oh, that one Baneling has a mission, Andre.
Is it going to get it? But no, there's 2 spine crawlers over there. It very well could, though. No.
He's just going to pick off. He's just going to pick off some of those units now. Ostojiy is getting a fast third. I actually like this response from Ostojiy because he knows that Scarlett has a little bit of an edge in drones, and why try to overcome your opponent? Like, if he tries to tech the layer and do the exact thing that Scarlett's doing, he's just going to be playing from behind. Yeah. Tries to take it in a different direction, and now, even though Scarlett scouts this third, it's been almost done, and Ostojiy will temporarily have that hatchery advantage in terms of Larva.
Correct. And, Scarlett has been playing quite interesting, actually. Very defensive, very scared, I want to actually say. I kind of feel like that's unlike her. She's normally, I think, fearless. She has that tendency to just do stuff and just go with it. And it's been, actually touted as being a better style these days. I know DeMuslim has been a pretty big proponent of that kind of just fearless, bold move and get paid off that way. So far, she's just been very defensive. Spine crawlers going down everywhere, just anticipating some sort of push. But, of course, we know nothing is to come.
Yep, and again, Scarlett is this time prioritizing getting a lot more units out. She's trying to play, just like you said, a little bit more safer, but she's been squeezing out drones really nicely as well, always keeping just a very small cushion of drones. Now look at this. Ostojiy is going to be putting on pressure with these roaches. He wants desperately to see if he can cancel that third. That third timing is so critical for Scarlett. If for some reason she's forced to cancel or if she can't hold it, then Ostojiy will be super far ahead. Not
only that, it is a 1-1 timing. We have to mention that as well. The Queen might go down right here. Oh my god, 1 hit point, and it goes down to just 2 Zerglings. He's going to approach up onto this third base, as you said. But +1 has finished. That'll help out quite substantially. Scarlett, where are her upgrades? She's just +1 attack, so these Zerglings won't do nearly as good. Oh my god, big Baneling hit. 2 Banelings go across all of Scarlett's Banelings. That is not looking good. Even though Ostojiy will be cleaned up here, Ostojiy is way ahead from this exchange.
That was a huge investment of gas. Look at the Scarlett. Does still have a lot of gas, but she's got pretty much nothing else to really back it compared to Ostojiy. Ostojiy does have that third hatchery, but you know what? Scarlett needed to crush it. He needed to be able to deal with that immediately. Otherwise, Ostojiy's reinforcements would have been a huge Baneling shot, killing a bunch of those rings as well. But nonetheless, Scarlett is pushing back Ostojiy and at least surviving for now. And Scarlett is getting out those first few infestors, and as long as she can survive long enough, Scarlett will at least be in a pretty decent position.
Yeah, we can see Scarlett has been doing this style both games now, getting a very fast +2 melee, just trying to keep her Zerglings relevant in this army, and then reinvesting all the gas into infestors. And the infestors didn't work out last game because of that very critical Nidus Worm, but we'll see this game if it's able to do anything. Nice fungal growth. Is able to just latch onto those roaches.
Ooh, oh, that one Baneling almost caught a huge chunk. But the big thing is that Scarlett's been able to defend with lots of spine crawlers. That excess minerals definitely going to a good spot. Now, Hive Tech's about halfway down. Ostojiy definitely does not want to give those extra 100 seconds for Ultralisk to really come out when the Ultras Cavern is placed and you're able to get Ultras out. And so I think at this point, Ostojiy is just going to try to put on more forms of aggression, but he does get fungled. And it has to be really cautious, but wow, look at that, a burrow from Ostojiy.
Yeah, Ostojiy has been constantly doing this, basically making the fungals absolutely useless. I mean, every single time he gets fungled, he just instantly burrows and then gets all of his energy back. Excuse me, gets all of his life. Here we go again. Big fungal. Nefessor is going to go down here. This is really difficult for Scarlett. Baneling gets in there and also gets a nice detonation, but still there's no more units out here for Scarlett. I don't know where all her units are. She's just falling back on the Spinecrawler Zergling. And it's okay into getting Ultralisks, but it's still a very difficult way to actually approach the game.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is that Ostoji's been able to trade damage and then heal them with burrows, so over time he's making really strong, efficient trades in terms of just constantly pressuring Scarlett and never giving her room. And of course, Ostojiy knows what his opponent's doing. He wants to hit before the hive timing can really kick in. You can see the Ultralisk Cavern still only about 75% done. It's still another good 50 seconds to a minute before Ultras can even be threat for Ostojiy, and he's constantly sending in reinforcements. But his big thing is that now Ostojiy has his own infestors about to pop, Andre.
Yeah, I don't know if infestors are the best at this position, but I understand where he's at. He just wants to minimize the damage that those Zerglings can do. But there was a little bit of counterattack action going in the top middle position. That actually helped out Scarlett quite substantially. She obviously was in a bad position if she was just taking damage, but now she was able to stabilize the front, and doing damage obviously just equalized the income slightly. Income tab shows 61 to 66. Scarlett is actually ahead. We're going to see, though, if she's able to do anything with this big Ultralisk switch. That's going to be the big question. Yeah. And what she's been investing this whole time is composition, composition, composition. If she doesn't get anything, if she doesn't get paid off here, she will be so far behind. I don't know how she'll be able to come back.
You know what, Andre? Scarlett is investing in composition, I feel.
Yeah.
I'm just trolling you, man. Yeah, you can see that the big thing is that Ultras are kind of like Colossus and PvZ. It takes up a huge amount of supply, do a lot of damage. You can see fungals on these roaches to make sure to push back Ostojiy. But it's almost similar to like a PvZ, where in the sense that Scarlett's supply is maybe not as big, but it's capable of wiping out all the Ostojiys if it gets the right flank, the position, the fungals, the surrounds. And Ostojiy has to be super cautious, and he knows that hive timing window has closed, and those units will have those upgrades. You can see +3 and the chitinous plating are about to wrap up for Scarlett, giving her a very fearsome army. Ostojiy's hive timing is extremely delayed, and also his upgrades.
Yeah, it's really how you deal with those Zerglings, which is weird, right? It's you don't think with this composition it's the Zerglings that do damage. It actually is. You need to make sure, just like when you're force fielding, you need to fungal those Zerglings, make sure they don't do a lot of damage, because if you don't let that happen, even in PvZ, Zerglings can wreck a Protoss. But as soon as force fields or fungal growths enter the fray, all of a sudden those Zerglings are, you know, severely hampered.
Yeah, and I think what's really cool, oh wow, one roach. Man, talking about using a hammer to kill a gnat. Oh man, another roach is actually misrouted as well. Either that or the really expensive roach scout. But you can see that actually Ostojiy coincidentally catches the sight of everything, all the Ultralisks, every single unit of Scarlett. But man, Scarlett is taking that center position now. That's actually a really interesting point that we always talk about. Should you go for center control? And at this point, Scarlett has complete dominance, and Ostojiy keeps misrouting these roaches. That's already 10 supply of roaches that he donated.
That's unfortunate. I think we might have a huge engagement coming up pretty soon. Now, obviously, Scarlett wants to attack on creep so that the Zerglings can obviously just attack and go into a good position, but that's really difficult, and to actually mount this assault might be difficult as well. Nice fungal growth goes off on those Zerglings, and this is what I'm talking about. You need to fungal them down as fast as possible. Fungals are not going down just yet. Infested Terrans are pooping out, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
All the Infested Terrans
really tough,
trying to get in the way also, Andre, and the Ultras have an incredible amount of armor. Look at how much DPS they are soaking up, and the Ultras are just cleaving every single thing that's remaining.
Oh, yes.
Even a transfuse onto those Ultras. Very scary indeed. Ostojiy's third is under siege, and Ostojiy loses his third. That's it, man. He won't be able to do anything. That's 1/3 of his production, 1/3 his economy, and the last remaining shreds of hope. Oh, the fungals on the Infestors as well. Oh, that hurts so bad. Just one swing from the Ultras cleans it up. And that is all that you need to know from that battle.
Yeah, the micro was really off in that last engagement. What you need to do is fungal down all of those Zerglings and then just start kiting as best as you can against the Ultras. But just standing there, taking the hits, the Ultra Zergling, this new wave into the metagame of ZvZ is going to just crush. GG gets called out. Ostojiy will fall, and we have a 1-1 series in this best of 3.
And that was really cool, actually. Just the way Scarlett was able to defend, and Ostojiy, his game sense is very on point. You can see, man, I know Scarlett has this upgrade thing going for the Link Infestor. I need to hit that high timing. 14 to 16 minutes is around where you can play. And he says, I really want to pull on aggression, but Scarlett gets up the spine crawlers, holds back, make sure to get infesting count high, keep the infestors. Oh my goodness, so many Zergs lose those infestors. And Scarlett held on just long enough, and Ostojiy said, I have to back off, I have to kind of rethink, try to take the high, was not able to get there.
It's also an interesting style because so many times we have an emphasis on carapace upgrades and getting them appropriately and making sure your Zerglings don't get two-shotted. Scarlett actually just says, I give up. I'm not going to bother. My Zerglings will be two-shotted, but they're going to do a crap load of damage. You saw that whole game. She was just constantly upgrading on the Evolution Chamber, and she had +3 melee attack, +0 carapace. And she just relies on the chitinous plating to actually keep Ultras alive. Yes, exactly. So it's a really, really interesting type of play, and I like what we're seeing.
All right, so looks like we're getting ready for game number 3. Ostojiy saying, yeah, I tried to hit that timing, but I missed it, and I was not able to get it. So looks like we're going to go to Shakura's Plateau for game number 3. Good luck and have fun to both of our players. Now, the big thing, Greetorp, is that this is game 3. Win or go to loser's bracket at this point. And when you, I think it's estimated for a 13-man bracket, if you lose in the winner's bracket this early, it's 3 more rounds you have to play to catch up to it, because that's how many more rounds.
Yep.
And you just want to conserve yourself, especially because today is the marathon day. We get to, I think, the winner's bracket finals in the WCS, and then everything else. So you have to play a lot of games in order to really get that far, and that's more chances.